All right. Good morning, gang. On a new tradingology.com trading room for, this is going to be a first, Wednesday, July 22nd. You heard it. We're here on a Wednesday, guys. How you doing? Dave, good to see you. Let me get unmuted since I'm famous for keeping my speakers down. There we go. And we'll unmute Dave. There you go, sir. How you doing?
Good. Good morning, everyone.
Welcome to Wednesday.
Yes, this is a special occasion.
We're in uncharted territories here.
It is because this is the first Wednesday we have ever done a trading room.
So happy to see you guys coming out and joining us.
And look who's here.
We got Tommy B in the house.
Wow. This is a special occasion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I just think, yeah, I've never missed a Wednesday trading room. That is true, technically.
So it's one of those few times you can actually use the word never and it counts. It's a hard word to actually use.
Morning, Andre. Yeah, so what do you guys think? We're going to do trading room every day instead of twice a week for an hour. We're going to do it every day for a half an hour. Is this good for you guys?
Yeah, what do you guys think? Monday through Thursday? We were thinking about doing Monday through Friday, but then Dave reminded me, he said, well, there's that certain channel that he's on with Mr. Brad Kimes on Friday, so we don't want to interrupt that. So.
No, absolutely, because I get to shout out Dan at Tradingology, and he gets some more some traffic there to Tradingology, and I wouldn't want to miss that shout out.
You get to help some more people.
Yeah, get people in here because you know what? Things are getting tougher and tougher. Still lots of unemployment, even though the market's going up. I don't understand it, but that's the reality, you know?
Right. There's lots of talk too. I saw actually a few headlines where it was the market's going to go up, whether it's because there's a new vaccine. And if they don't make that, then there's just another stimulus package. So one way or the other, it's going up.
Well, it goes up on hope.
Right.
And it goes down on reality.
Yeah. Because look at how good that was running yesterday. Everything was super strong. Stuff was going crazy. And then was it when he started talking? Then all of a sudden it just tanked in the afternoon before the close.
Yeah, the Dow was up 270, 280, and then boom, big drop. But it looks like we're back on track again today. I mean, the YM futures were down 160 when I got up this morning, and now
yeah, big rally at the open.
Yeah.
Yeah, we jumped up 675 to 825. There's so good 150 point rally in the first half hour.
Yeah. Oh, good. So for you guys in the VXX system, I did a video. I could not do live again because we're doing this. I really want to, if I do it live, I want to spend time for Q&A and stuff like that. But so I did a video. It's up in the VXX course downloads right now. So all you have to do is go there and download it. I did spend a little more time answering a few questions I've received over the last few days. So go take a look at that. I made a mistake in the video. I said 97% of the time the VXX declines. It's actually 92.5. It's 7.5 that it actually goes up. So despite that little mistake there, I think you will get the drift of the video, and it will answer a lot of your questions. But I closed out 2 trades Monday, as I mentioned yesterday. About $500 profit on each one. So a nice $1,000 over a couple of days, and entered into a new one. And the one that we entered last Wednesday is already up about $600. So we're doing well.
Nice. Speaking of President Trump speaking, he's due to speak again at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So.
Oh, great. Just after the close.
Yep. I just noticed it looking at the Forex calendar. I pulled it up just to make sure I wasn't missing anything. Or excuse me, that was yesterday.
Oh, okay. Well, that's, you know.
Today was just oil this morning.
Ah, yeah. So what is oil doing this morning? Because usually oil, it was down this morning.
We had a forecast of -2.1, and it was actually 4.9.
Oh, so they were up.
Why is that bad if it's more? Inventories are too high, not being used?
Well, yeah, if there's more inventory, it means there's not enough demand there to use them up. And so you've got that. So oil is still down a little bit, but it hasn't really changed from this morning, down about 43 cents.
We have to get our oil guy Josh in here to talk about oil sometime. He's in the markets actually. He actually works in the industry.
Yeah, he works in the industry, so we've got an insider.
Exactly. Don't tell anyone.
But yeah, we're looking real good here in the markets. Like I said, 40,000 I think is probably in the cards.
Yeah, real weak on the indicators, or excuse me, the internals. Not real super bias either way. We see everything's chopped in the middle for today right now as we're kind of creeping higher. So
Yep.
definite support and resistant levels are in the pivots there. And then looks like
Oh, yeah.
RTI might be our leader today.
Yeah.
The Russell's jumping up and being number one right now.
Yeah. So typically when the small caps go up like that, that's a good indication that the market is still headed higher.
Yeah, especially with recently and all the small businesses taking the brunt of the bad news.
Yeah. Wow.
And how about that gold silver ratio?
Oh, it dropped like
silver
a rock today.
Silver just rallied.
It's up over 7 this morning, 7%. Yeah.
83.1 right now. Wow. Yeah.
Of course I got out yesterday.
That's okay. You got the meat on the bone, right?
I did. I was in at 112, so I mean, I had so much profit. I said I got to take some off the table. That's because I had to ask myself, when you're in a trade and you have substantial profits, do you stay in the trade to hope for more, or do you get out and take those and put them in your pocket?
Exactly.
And I said, you know what? If I was going to try to go short right now, I wouldn't do it. I would not be in a short position. I would not enter a new position. And so as soon as I made that determination, I'm out. So if you're still in, you got another opportunity to get out. But I think that's my 75 was my target. Might hit it. But I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with that trade.
Yeah, for sure. We should probably take a look at the most recent spreadsheet as well. We haven't had that in a while.
And here's something that I did not mention in the VXX course, which you guys, now this is the reason why you guys want to be in this trading room, is that when I'm looking at the volatility and I see all that bullish herding in there, look at all that bullish herding. I knew volatility was going to go lower. No doubt about it. So it's another kind of it's another indication, it's another tool to use to whether or not volatility is going to increase. And, 92% of the time, the X is going to decline. And when you see bullish herding like that, it really means the market is either going to go up, stay the same, but volatility is going to come down.
3 days in a row there with the change yesterday of actually below 1,500 for ABS. That hasn't happened in a long time.
Yes.
We've had a couple days here and there, but never 3 days in a row until just recently.
That's right. And take a look at the change in the Dow. The 2 days prior to yesterday, they were under 100 points.
Yeah, real small.
Yeah. We haven't seen a lot of that. There's a couple of days back there, but most of the days are 100, 200, 500, 700,
numerous
300. Yeah, there's not a lot of days back there that we can count that were very, very low. And so that's also another indication, just like in the winning trade system, those ranges, daily ranges, are important to indicate volatility.
Yeah, those big bars. Speaking of the courses, everybody should be fixed. I think 2 out of the 3 have confirmed, so I found the culprit of yesterday's little snafu, so I'm glad to say that we got that all fixed up. And anybody that's seen anything, let me know if you haven't been fixed, but everybody should be solid now. And that's where Dave's talking about in the winning trade system. You can see that that's part of the courses in silver. So everybody that has silver, gold has access to that. See what he's talking about there with those big bars and the ranges. Yeah, almost full there. 4 out of 6, and no bears hurting for a good week plus.
Yeah, we've had some orphans on the bearish side. We've got a buy sell that bottomed out at 2, and then just continued to. It never went negative, just ramped up higher. Is that an updated chart?
It is.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So we stayed above the 0 line, and that is bullish for sure.
Sums I updated as well where the 27 crossed over, which you called out, because we are much higher in the 27-day sum.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we could be a little bit overbought here with a 9 on the buy sell signal. Typically around 9, 10, 11, they starts to top out. Doesn't mean we're going to go down. That's not the point. The point is that we're kind of like, we may just kind of go sideways. Like today we're up 50 points or so, down a little bit on the NASDAQ, up on the YM. ES is eking out a 3-point gain. So, it just means that we might go sideways to higher.
Andres asked, what would you use the winning trade system for?
Another indication of volatility. So remember that when we were trading the YM contracts and we were looking at the spread in the average bar on a 5-minute chart was like 100 points or 200 points.
Yeah.
Now it's like 25 points. I mean, it was just, so it makes a big difference. So what you do is the winning trade system was really looking at the size of the bars to indicate a increase in volatility, implied volatility on a daily basis. And that's always something that I look at. I mean, you can't think of volatility in terms of the VIX alone. And you can, in the winning trade system also, you can apply it to individual stocks. So I think as we go forward, it's going to be a lot more of an individual stock picking environment rather than index environment. So, I put up in fact, in Thinkorswim, I have a custom scan set up so that if any stock is between 30% lower and 1% lower, so it's got to be, 1% is not that big of a move, but a 30% move is pretty big. I want to catch them all, and when I see that, I want to take a look at the bar to see if there's high implied volatility there. And typically I buy that, or I sell that volatility. I sell the premium on the options. I'll do a naked option. I'll buy a naked put. Sell a naked put if I want to get into a long stock position. So, if something drops from 40 to 32 and I can pick up the 25 put and sell it for a $2 premium and get the stock at 25, that would be a bargain.
Right. Yeah. Put it all together.
Yeah. And if I don't get it, I make $1,000 on the $2 put. It's a win-win.
All right. So any Wednesday questions other than that one, Andre? So appreciate that. Curtis says half hour is good. I didn't miss that one. What else did we miss for today? Todd's got on the VXX spreadsheet, June 10 entry showed a profit. Exited the next day and it spiked. Is he missing something?
Let me take a look.
I don't have that spreadsheet open, so I'll save that to our VXX only. I won't put that on since everyone sees this on YouTube.
June 10th. Seems like so long ago now. Yeah, I think there was the trend in the rate. So if you take a look at the trend in the rate for that day, it was down significantly, and I had my doubts whether or not I should go long or short. I ended up going short, but usually when those really big moves happen in the VXX, I said, um, well, see here, I had a long on June 2nd though. That's what you didn't. That's what you missed. So I had a long on June 2nd. I went short on June 10th. So it spiked, but I sold it. I think I waited because early in the morning it had spiked up. I don't remember the exact details, but I think that was the case. And so I exited one position on the long side, and then I waited to enter my weekly position on the short side. I'm guessing that's what happened.
You have to roll back your time machine and look at your house webcam and see what you were doing.
Yeah. Pretty soon, they're going to have one hooked up to everybody.
Yep.
And they're going to have a little sensor in there to see if you have a fever or not. So. They're going to have a green light or a red light.
Can I leave the house today? Light says no.
Yeah. Yeah, Todd, in these cases, in every single case, you want to sell higher implied volatility. Oh, by the way, if you didn't know, implied volatility is completely overstated in the Thinkorswim platform or in just about any platform. So if it reads 80 or 90, it's typically about 2 to 3% below that. And so you're actually getting paid to sell options and sell premium when those implied volatilities are very high because they're overstated, and typically the next day they revert. A lot of mean reversion in volatility. You don't get mean reversion in stock prices. So if you're looking at stock prices alone, you don't get that. A stock can go from 2 to 8, or 20 to 80, and then 80 to 60. There's no mean reversion in that. It's all supply and demand. But in volatility, you get a mean reversion. The average volatility, average VIX level over the last 10 years is like between 16 and 18. If you take the last 10 years, it's like 17 and a half. If you take the 10 years before 2008 financial crisis, it was 16. So that's what we kind of depend on. So when we get a volatility level of VIX up around 25, and we've got a implied volatility on the VXX, like right this morning, when I did the video on the analysis, it was at 103, which is overstated. And so I went short again. So we shall see.
Do we know, have you heard of some apparently market timing guru, Tom Demark? Does he ring a bell at all to you?
Oh, DeMark. Yeah.
I said his name, gotcha.
He's great.
Apparently he's calling for the S&P will see a 3,500 before peaking.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Tom DeMark is an old timer. He's been around a very long time. In fact, I heard of him back in the late 1980s when I first started trading options.
And how about that Fed accounts for all? Automatic and recurring payments. Triggered by a crisis. Money for everyone. Or currency or something.
Really?
Yeah. Should we click? I don't know if I dare click on it. It might give me too many ads. This was today.
Free bank accounts for all Americans. There was a huge movement back in the early 90s, which you probably remember, that every bank had to have at least one free account for anyone who wanted it. And then kind of in the 2000s, after they kind of got away from that, and they started charging, if you didn't have a minimum balance, they would charge you a fee every month. and now they're kind of going back. Of course, I hate to create FUD around this, but it's again, it's what's the word I'm looking for? Not pandering, but it's like they're trying to appease people who are low income, or they're trying to use the idea that people of modest means need an extra hand up, and so it's a little bit marketing. It's a little bit trying to ease people's pain in this financial situation with the pandemic. And I think they're sincere about it, but I don't think they would have even been talking about it if we didn't have this situation. See?
Right. Yeah, they're using it as their excuse to bring it up. But
Yeah.
here they're talking about it, every American, 2,000 guaranteed income a month. Monthly cash payments so everyone can pay rent and buy food, provide the peace of mind and socially distance to get today.
Right. And so, free bank accounts for everybody makes sense if you're slightly, if you think that we're going towards a digital economy and they need everybody in this new digital dollar and digital economy so they can track payments from everyone. And so by giving people a free bank account, they can now track you once they do go over to the digital system. I shouldn't say digital, I should say blockchain system, so that everything is recorded, because we're already digital mostly.
Right. And there's where they're talking about the audience, 22% underbanked or unbanked, 40% use some type of predatory service where they're actually charged enormous fees for like cashing a check or a payday loan. 40%, that's a big number.
That is a big number. Well, it's 40% of the 22%.
Oh, sure. That makes more sense.
Right. So, but still, that's a very, very big number of those. 22%, that's 60 million, right? U.S. citizens.
Yeah, over a fifth.
Yeah. So, it's good that they're giving away a free checking account, but on the other hand, they know they're going to a blockchain digital system. Everything's going to be recorded. And so they want everybody on that system. And I think if you don't get on that system, you're probably going to be left out. Tom says, are either of you familiar with CME's SPAN methodology? I came across that yesterday while researching trading in an IRA, which Tastyworks allows with some restrictions. Nobody seems to want to say exactly what it would be for, say trading ES futures. I am not familiar with it.
I am not either. Let me pull it up quick to take a look.
So is it only for trading in IRAs?
Evaluates overall portfolio risk by calculating the worst possible.
Oh, yeah, I know what that is. Okay. So it's portfolio, what they used to call portfolio margining. And typically it's for very high, it was at one time only used portfolio margining for accounts with large account balances. So they look at your overall portfolio in order to determine margin. Some brokers do it, some don't.
Standard portfolio analysis of risk. There you go. That's the acronym it stands for. So it's analyzing your risk.
Yeah, across your entire portfolio.
Across everything, yeah. So
you might have one or two positions that are high risk, but if you look at the entire portfolio, then it kind of margins it out so that it identifies those risk parameters. I had the only thing I use for TD Ameritrade right now is buying stocks, and when I was buying MGI stock, the MoneyGram stock, I had a very large position in it, but it was my only position, and the margin requirement was like 90%. So I only got 10% margin. I wanted to put it on margin so I could buy more shares because I don't fund that. I don't put a lot of money into that account. I put it all into Tastyworks and Tradebyte. And they said, well, the way we do it is we say you got that one position, and so that's a high risk position because you don't have a wide portfolio of different stocks. And if that's your only position, what we do is we determine what the risk is of that stock going to dropping 90%. And then we margin it accordingly. So the margin was 90% on it, or I had to pay 90%, the margin was 10%. And so he goes, well, you can ask for margin forgiveness, which will allow you to buy it at 50% margin. So I said, okay. So I asked for margin forgiveness, I guess. Whatever terms they come up with is kind of
there's a forgiveness for everything now.
Yeah, there's forgiveness for everything. Yeah. So I said, okay, I'll ask for margin. I think it was called margin forgiveness or margin something, reduction. And then they gave it to me. They freed up some more capital so I could buy some more shares. Tom B says, so it'll vary. Yeah, this is specifically if you want to trade in an IRA. Okay. That would explain the rules are different. Trading in an IRA has some very different conditions. Absolutely, since you're not supposed to borrow money in an IRA margin borrowing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Most of them don't even let you. Like you can't do it.
Right.
It'll just bark at you if you try and enter an order that's either naked or using margin.
Right. And so also then in IRA, you're probably not able to do credit spreads on options because that requires margin. You could probably only do debit spreads, call and put debit spreads, that kind of stuff.
Looks like they won't let them do the VXX trade. Because it doesn't recognize it, right? Depending on the platform. You were talking about that a few weeks ago or a few sessions ago, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Because they can't put together all the orders together to see that it's a combo versus singular positions.
Right. I'm on M1 Finance for margin-free, no margin trading on the commodity stuff, on the commodity stocks that we talked about in the Wealth Masterclass. And I was also going to add GBTC, which is the Greystone Bitcoin Trust shares, but they won't allow GBTC to be traded on M1 Finance.
Really?
I think because it's over the counter.
Oh.
And they don't do over the counter stuff. And they said it had to meet their minimum volume requirements, but I think it had to do with the fact that it was OTC. ESMES should be fine from what I've seen, but I need to look into it. Oh boy. Can you get out in and out in real time in an IRA account? I don't have an IRA account, so I really don't know.
I think I traded an IRA account in TOS years ago where it let me trade futures. But that was a number of years ago, so I don't know if the rules have changed or not.
Well, you were with a IRA and a brokerage account, so that makes sense.
Right.
He doesn't say where his IRA is.
Yeah, it wasn't like a self-directed work one or anything like that. It was one that I had opened up, actually, a brokerage 401k account.
Gotcha.
So that might be the one way you can get around it. Or make it work, I should say. It's not really getting around it. It's just playing within the rules.
Yeah, so you just have to kind of make a determination of, whether or not they allow that, and you can get in and out in real time. Yeah, it's IRA versus not a 401k.
Oh, gotcha. All right, well, there's a reason my phone's ringing over there. It is the top of the hour.
Okay, guys.
Our first Wednesday cruised right by.
Yeah. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
We had, looks like, just to end it out there, still no major movements, a little bit of drop in the tech on the NQ while we were talking, but that's already starting to recover. So a lot of chop today.
YM's moving up against that little resistance area there.
Yep, we'll see if it closes above that Camarilla. They usually like to honor those. It might sneak above and come right back down. So looks like a day for Pong.
Yep. Chop, chop, chop.
All right, Dave. Well, appreciate you joining us on a Wednesday, and looking forward to the new schedule.
Yeah, me too. Have a great day, guys, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning.
Take it easy, guys.